We now welcome UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman. Kamaru, thank you for the time today, sir.
Hello, how are you?
We're doing great. Thank you, sir. We will take the first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cape Side Press.
How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Doing well, sir. Thank you. Kamaru, I wanted to ask you something. You brought it up on the embedded. You talked about, it's weird how much your career has resembled Rashad Evans, Ultimate Fighter winner, champion, etc. I did want to ask you, there's a lot of talk about the return of the Ultimate Fighter. Being a coach, you've worked with some great coaches, you've had great teams and teammates. Would you be interested in possibly filling that role in your career, trying to be a Ultimate Fighter coach?
Absolutely. I mean the stage is kind of set for me to do that. Um, and I think there's no time better than now to be able to do that. Um, I've proven myself as a champion. And this is what some of the greatest seasons of the Ultimate Fighters are when those proven champions are able to step in there against a foe and go out there and deliver in helping some of the newer generations and newer fighters crack into the UFC. So absolutely, I think the stage is kind of set for me. The opponent is I'll let the people decide who they want to see with that. You've got the loudmouth guy that runs around saying he's Jesus, that he can baptize anybody. We could do that, or we can have the other guy that I broke his face again. So either one, the stage is set. It's up for the people to decide.
I know the pandemic and then injuries, made it hard for you to kind of stay active a bit in 2020. Do you have a particular number of fights you'd like to hit? Like, do you want to try to get in there two or three times in 2021? Or is it just, the business management will handle that as long as you get a fight?
Well, yeah, of course, business and management will, that's their job. That's what I pay them to do. So they handle that. But absolutely. I would love to fight three times this year. That's three times the paycheck. So, of course, I would love to do that. But I'm also smart enough to know that I'm at a particular point in life where my body is a priority now. And so, if my body permits me to fight three times, then I can do it 3 weeks in a row. We'll knock him out. But if not, then I kind of got to listen to my body and my team and my coaches, and we'll decide what's best.
My final question, I'm asking all of the fighters this. You guys are fighting on Valentine's Day weekend. What is the welterweight champion, Kamaru Usman's idea of a romantic Valentine's Day?
Oh, well, initially Valentine's would just be me and my daughter. I'm in a weird place now to where actually being a father and then you have a child where, and it's a daughter. I'm kind of in that place to where I have to display the example that I would want her to know and understand, and that I would want a man to give her. And so I have, one Valentine's taking her out on a date, um, giving her flowers and all of that. Um, and so, yeah, that's kind of my idea is just, of course, every day should be a day you let them know that they're appreciated. But Valentine's just kind of, it's what everyone's doing. It's a designated day for you to show a little extra appreciation for them. So I've already put something in the mail for my daughter. Hopefully she receives it tomorrow or Saturday.
Hey, thank you, Kamaru, and good luck.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Jim Varsalone with the Miami Herald.
Thank you, champ. Like the hat.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, I just want to know. I'm in South Florida, so champ, are you all still living here? I know you're not with Sanford MMA anymore. Do you still train down here though? Are you living down here? Or just a little bit of the dynamic there. Thank you.
Yeah, I still have my place there. I'm actually kind of a lot of people don't know that I left Colorado to come to South Florida. And so I spent 2 years of my life from 2010 to 2012 here in Colorado before I went to South Florida. So, Colorado's kind of always had a place in my heart. So I would like to, and I'm kind of in that process of getting a place here as well. But of course, I have that place down there in South Florida. I think it would be unfair for me to just uproot my daughter and her way of life right now and just move her all the way to Colorado. But I definitely will be splitting time in both.
And about this fight, such a big event. You've been in so many big fights. How do you look at this one? How does this one add to your legacy, if I could say legacy?
Yeah, I mean, legacy is not something that I'm worried about right now. That's just there. That's something that people bestow upon you. I learned very, very early in the game when I was 1-1 and I had lost my second professional fight, and I was thinking, man, like how do I build a resume? Like what's going on here? And then it was the first time I actually ever I was living with Rashad Evans at the time. I Googled him and I saw his Dog, and I was looking at Dog, and I think he started his career out at like maybe 10-0 or something crazy like that. And I just remember going through and just seeing all the greens and wins and wins and wins. And I'm thinking to myself, how could I ever one day get this many greens on my resume? How could I do that? And I remember the talk with him where he was just like, you know what? You just got to take it one fight at a time. One fight at a time. Just focus on the task at hand. And then when you're said and done, they will pile up. And that's what I've done. And I started doing that. And before you know it, I was 5-1, defending my team on the Ultimate Fighter finale. Next thing you know, everyone's saying, hey, you got one more fight to tie George St. Pierre for this record. So as long as I continue to just take it one fight at a time, I think, that's the important thing. So legacy, that's something that will come after when you look back on your achievements. But this fight is definitely important. The toughest test to date, which is why he's fighting me right now. If he wasn't the toughest guy, he wouldn't be in there. I take him very seriously, and I'm worried and focused on just him. Once we get through him, then we could, when I'm done with our career, then we could worry about legacy.
And you mentioned pile up, 16 in a row piled up, champ. It's pretty good. Hey, lastly for me, how's your brother doing? What's going on with him? And I know you're in your fight mode, but do you get to train with him a little? And that's it for me. Thank you.
I haven't been able to really like train with him. That's because he lives in Dallas, Texas, and of course he's a big boy. And usually kind of our schedules are just kind of mixed up to where when I'm in a training camp, he kind of knows how to just kind of let me be in a training camp and go do what I need to get done in order to be successful. But he's a PFL heavyweight now. He's gonna be in the PFL tournament. Um, he was just out in Colorado a couple of weeks ago, and I was thoroughly impressed. He still has a long way to go because he's still a newbie in the sport. He's still very, very green, but I was extremely impressed by he's finally starting to get it. And that's one thing that I kind of questioned early on in this is does he really want to do this, or is he just doing this because of me? And he's really starting to get it. He wants it, and that's a dangerous thing. You guys have seen him. My little brother is that guy that will run right through a wall if you tell him to, and if he believes in it. So I think PFL going to have their hands full with him, and I'm excited to see what he does.
Thank you, champ.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Alistair Bishop with MMA Republic.
Kamaru, how are you, sir?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I know this narrative between two teammates and former training partners has been played out quite a lot, and I'm sure you're pretty tired of answering the question. But what, if anything, has surprised you the most between yourself moving and what's being said by Gilbert Burns?
I wouldn't say that I'm surprised by a lot of it because you have to expect that from when someone calls you out and says, hey, I want to challenge you. You have to expect that they're going to say and do whatever is possible and necessary for them to form that belief in themselves that they can get the job done. I honestly, I would be, I'm a human being with human emotions. And, when you spend so much time with with that team. I've always been there. That was where my career was with, with the Black Zillions, and then, over the H Kickboxing. I was always with them. And when you are the guy who kind of helped, I was there from the start, and you go in and you give them the world championship. It's and then things kind of play out the way that they're playing out. It's kind of tough when people start taking sides. That's a tough one. And I would be honest if I said that wasn't kind of the most surprising thing to me. But at the end of the day, you got to expect it. He's coming and he feels prepared, and he feels like he's ready to go out and take me out. And it's my job to go in there and let him know that, hey, it's a dream. One day it might happen, but not while I'm on the throne.
He mentioned, I think the question was about his title reign as a champion, and he was issuing out a warning to the top 15. What does that make you feel like? Has the respect level for Gilbert Burns changed by the way he's almost looking past you and saying things like coaches and teammates know about you and they're all kind of chipping into your demise? Does that change the respect level?
I didn't get the first part of that. You said what?
He was planning his title reign already, about the whole of the top 15 was already in trouble.
Yeah, no. I mean, it is what it is. He has to say that. I mean, we hear it time and time again. Guys have to they have to. If you don't believe in yourself, then why are you even in there? Or if you don't say you believe in yourself, why are you in there? Everyone has to say that. I'm sure Kobe Covington was planning his title reign as well. I'm sure Tyron Woodley wanted to continue his title reign. And I'm sure Jorge Masvidal, the Street Judas or Street Jesus, whatever they call him, I'm sure he was planning a title reign, fighting this guy and that guy and all of this. They all plan that. It is what it is. At the end of the day, all I can do is worry about myself and the things that I can control going into the fight. And as long as I've done that, then the outcome should be what it should be.
The new look of your out at your camp, Justin Gaethje and Trevor Whitman. What would you say is the biggest takeaway or the biggest lesson you've learned from both Justin Gaethje and Trevor Whitman?
Well, I would say with Trevor, I think it's just the basic fundamentals. Like, and I knew it, kind of in my career. There was certain times where I would be preparing for a fight, and I felt like, okay, I needed to spend more time on this. I'm not sharp here with this. Like my footwork is not there. My balance is not there. I'm not sharp there. But I'm on a team with 40, 50 guys, and the coaches are gone every other weekend training and coaching other guys. So I kind of have to be the one to do the best that I can to bridge that gap on my own. And now kind of getting back to those basics. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone's kind of hit a heavy bag. Everyone knows how to hit hard. We all know that. I have punching power. He has punching power. But it's those fine details of, okay, this is you step here and this is why you step here. You throw the punch here, this is why you exhale. And this is why you squeeze your stomach. This is why you pull in tight. This is why the guard is up. This is why we roll with this. Just those fine details, I think, are what then starts to separate the good from the great. It's just learning those small details. And it was very tough to get those details on a team with 40, 50 guys with maybe 4 coaches, and the coaches are gone every other weekend. And so I would say, yeah, that's kind of been the biggest key of is getting that attention and being able to work on those details. And then with Justin Gaethje, it's just, I mean, being around a madman. I call him a madman because he's just somebody who likes to. He's just there to fight. With Justin, I'm going into sparring, and it's crazy. It's like normal days. It's like, okay, I have wrestling practice today. Okay, it's gonna be a tough one, but it is what it is. I'm used to that. I'm going into grappling. Okay, it is what it is. I'm used to that. But it's like, okay, I have to spar, and I know Justin's going to spar. Something about it is just you kind of get that little feeling in your stomach, those little butterflies, like, okay, I'm going to get punched today. It's going to be all right. You kind of got to get up for it. And then when he comes in, he's just like a hurricane. He doesn't spare anything. He'll just jump right on you. And so that's been great to have someone who puts me in the fire. I'm able to still feel that fire. Yes, it's a new surrounding, new environment, but I'm still able to feel that fire to where when I get in there, that's not going to be a foreign feeling to me.
Fantastic. Kamaru, obviously from South Africa, there's a lot of talk about the African UFC, and we're all campaigning really hard to make that a reality, hopefully, when all this COVID stuff is over and then the world returns to normal. How do you envision a Africa UFC event, and how far do you think we are away from it?
Honestly, I don't think we're far at all. I think the tough thing is just, the higher ups and the execs just, are able to say, okay, we're gonna do whatever it takes to make it happen. Because obviously there's intricate details that a lot of people don't know that goes into bringing events to certain places, as far as transport, just financial wise, and not just financially, but also logistics, and making sure everything works out. There's a couple of countries down in the continent of Africa who are definitely capable of being able to host and make this thing come to fruition. And it's just kind of up to the company to basically decide if, hey, we're going to make this happen. Because sooner than later, we're about to have three African-born champions, all holding belts. So I mean, we're gonna have to make something happen sooner or later, and I envision that just being one of the most memorable and massive events that this company has ever seen.
Fantastic. There's definitely going to be a couple of young Africans and especially South Africans listening and watching this. So, a two-part question: what would you say to those youngsters in pursuit of their dreams, and a message to those African fans?
No, my biggest message is always been is, I'm an African-born child. I came from there. I was born there and I was raised there for a while until I moved over here to the States, and my roots are very strong from there, very deep. I remember my time there very, very vividly and very well. And one of those things is when you're growing up and the country is kind of the way it is, certain countries, it's tough to see yourself out of that situation. It's tough to ever see yourself like we had a well. We had to go out and get fresh water, boil the water in order to be able to have stuff to cook for the day and take care of ourselves on a daily. And this is what I come from. And I know this is what a majority of some African kids are going through and living in right now. And for me, being that symbol of hope that, just because this is a situation that you're in right now, this is not necessarily where you're going to end up. Nobody knows tomorrow. My story is living proof of that. And Israel Adesanya is living proof of that. And of course, Francis Ngannou is living proof of that. And so it's just that message to let all my Africans, and not just Africans, but people all over the world know that, your situation, your circumstances today are not always where God has designed for you to end up.
Inspiring. Thank you very much. So best of luck. And as always, Africa is behind you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We'll take the next set of questions from Fabricio Souza with Diario Claren.
Hi, Kamaru from Argentina.
Hola, my friend. How are you?
Hola. Sorry for my bad English, Kamaru. How you feel for that fight?
I'm feeling good. Of course, the narrative is I'm finding someone that I'm familiar with, but at the end of the day, I'm feeling good. I woke up this morning and it became a lot more real, with the when you start starving, it's like, why am I starving? And so it becomes real for you. So, yeah, I feel good. And I'm just to get this weight off and get the show on the road.
Yes. Is Durinho Burns the most dangerous fighter in the division for you? I ask because of his grappling first, your grappling level first, and he knows you very well.
Absolutely. Right now, he is the most dangerous guy in the division. Absolutely. One, because there's that element of he's felt me before, Obviously, it was in training, but he's felt me before, and he has an idea of kind of the way that I move. Excuse me.
It's okay.
It's my mom.
No.
She would
You
call me
say
to do the interview. But it's hold on one second. She's gonna be mad.
don't hold your
Hey
mom.
mom, madam, I'm doing an interview right now. You called me right in the middle of a media day. Are you okay? Everything okay? My mom, every now and again, she'll just call and give
The,
somebody
the,
a
the,
prayer.
the mama, the moms are all already in
Yeah.
the life.
Yes. And so, yeah, I mean, with Gilbert, yes, he's absolutely the most dangerous guy right now because, yeah, he's felt me before, and then of course he's on a streak. He's got that ultra confidence right now that he's the guy, But as far as skill wise, just because it's not just because he's grappling. I faced Damian Maia is probably the most dangerous grappler we've ever seen in the sport of MMA. I faced Sergio Moraes, another incredible grappler. And so it's not just he's not dangerous just because of his grappling. He's dangerous because he's felt me before and he's got that ultra confidence that he can do this. And so it's my job to go in and let him know that it's not his time yet.
Okay, you say that in case of your win this fight, you are not clear who will be the next in the division. Do you see yourself moving up the a division in the future?
Um, if after not if after I win this fight, I do think because I don't like the narrative of how these guys. I believe in in my last fight, these guys hopped into a perfect scenario and a perfect excuse for them, and which was the only way they took the fight. We tried to make that fight 3 times before, and they didn't. They didn't accept the fight. So when it was on 6 days notice to where they had a built-in excuse to, hey, let's just take the fight, and even if when we do lose, we have a built-in excuse. That kind of didn't sit well with me, and I think I would love to run that one back just to go out there and fully display the skills that I've been working on, and I would love to finish him. And I think this one it'd be much easier to finish him.
The last one. In Chile, you were going to fight with Santiago Ponzinibbio, Argentina, but he got injured. Now you are the champion, and he lost recently after 2 years without fighting. Do you think that in the future that fight could happen?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Ponzinibbio is someone that's he's very, very dangerous in the division. And it's very, very tough to sustain an injury and be out of this game for almost 2 years. That's extremely tough. And then him coming back and trying to find his footing again. That's a tough task for anybody to do. And so I think, yeah, absolutely. I think if he's able to get back and just rehab and make sure that he's healthy, I think for sure that's a fight that could happen down the line. I mean, I like the guy. I like his body of work. I like his aggressiveness and how he fights. So, yeah, absolutely. That's a fight that could take place in the future.
Well, thank you, Kamaru. Thank you for talking with me.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kamaru. That unfortunately is all the time we have for you, sir. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys.